as always, you're gonna see a bunch of hose on a fire truck, right? So this right here is our bumper line. They call it that because it's on the bumper. And a lot of times what we'll use these for is just like trash fires or car fires, just something we need to pull up to, straight to, and we have 100 feet of hose and we can actually get to it pretty quick. And it's relatively easy to put fires out that way. We also have some supply line right here. This is a 5-inch supply hose, and this is actually what we connect to the fire hydrants, and that's how we get water inside the truck. So I'll take you around here and we'll go around the driver's side and we'll pretty much just go all the way around the vehicle. The driver's seat, one of the most fun jobs in the fire service, I think. You get to drive fast, you get to pump the water. Pretty much anybody who is the driver, a lot of times is one of the more senior firefighters. So it's kind of in some fire departments it's actually a promotion, in others it is just a different position. In this fire department, it's actually a different position. It's not a promotion, but it's a fun job.
How fast have you driven in the fire truck?
You know, you can't go as fast as you think.
Okay.
So what I will say is we do not try to go as fast as possible. What we do is we do what's called driving with due regard. Mm-hmm. So what that means is we don't just get to blow through lights. We don't just get to go as fast as we can through stop signs. We slow down or stop at those intersections to make sure that no one else is coming. So that is what's called driving with due regard. So I can't really say exactly how fast we've gone before. We maybe go like 5 to 10 over the speed limit. So we don't go as fast as people think we do. Back here, this is actually my seat. So you'll see our chairs actually have the air packs built into them. So what we do is we get dressed out here, and then we get up in the truck, we get our seat belts on, and then we can actually get our packs on while we're driving down the road. So it actually saves time. And then we've got headsets up there so we can talk to each other without having all the background noise. We don't have as many issues with hearing loss and things like that, so we're not yelling to each other, and we can get clear and precise information as to whatever the officer wants us to do. All right, so we'll just move right here. So we have this is called a tack line, crosslay. We have two. One goes this way, one goes that way. These are for your typical house fires. You know, we'll take these inside, and that's what we put your houses out with. We have more off the back, but our crosslays here are, if we're right in front of your house, we can just go straight up here and go straight into your house. So we have 200 feet on both sides, so there's 400 feet here total. So we have a lot of hose on here. We have well over 1,000 feet of hose on this truck. This is just different intakes and discharges for different hoses, so we can actually fill and send out all the water to wherever we want to send it to. In here, this is what's called the engineer's compartment. The person who drives, he keeps all his gear in here. And also there's different attachments that we might use. So sometimes we go into different areas, like so this says Madison Township. So their hydrants are a little bit different than ours, or their attachments are a little bit different than ours. We have IFD attachments because theirs are actually backwards from ours, because we actually do respond with IFD. So we just have things just as a contingency, basically, so that we can respond with other departments, because we are in an area where we respond with about 4 or 5 different departments.
And you always have to be prepared.
Yeah, we have to be prepared, just like the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts say. We also keep a cooler in here with water, Gatorade. If you're on a fire scene for hours at a time, you do get exhausted. It is just like playing a sport. You have to keep hydrated. So right here, this is actually our newest hose. This is what's called a hotel pack. And what these were traditionally used for is if you are ever in a building, a high-rise building, or something that's got anywhere from 3 or more levels. You've ever been walking up the stairs and you see the attachment for hoses and stuff like that? Well, that's what these attach to.
Oh, okay.
So our engineer can actually supply water to the building, and then we can hook up there, so we don't have to take the hose all the way upstairs. So instead we have these. So now we have 200 feet of hose upstairs where the fire is, instead of having to take all 200 feet, and then we maybe only have 50 feet up there.
Oh.
And then also, if we are in a really big building and 200 feet's not enough, we can bring these in and attach and extend.
Okay.
So we have a lot of different combinations of things we can do. We try to plan ahead for a lot of these things, and we practice this too.
How high do your ladders go on the outside?
So our ladders, we only have 2 ladders on this truck. We have a roof, what's called a roof ladder, which I'll show you those when we go over there.
Okay.
Those are 12 feet tall. And then we have an extension ladder, which only goes up to 24 feet. Now we have our ladder truck, their aerial device, which is the really big ladder, that one goes up to 100 feet. We have quite a combination of things in here actually. We have a lot of our fire tools that we use. This is the normal hand tool we use. This is we call these the irons. It's a combination of a Halligan and an axe. And this is pretty much the combination that you'll see probably 80 to 90% of the firefighters on the fire scene. You can pry, you can cut, you can chop, you can pretty much get into any door or through any wall with this combination of tools. So what I'll do is I'll show you how they look apart. So that's the Halligan right there, and you see it's got a spike right here. It's got what's called an adze right there. We can basically pry with using that. And there's a fork right there. And that end right there is actually how we force doors and get in through your front door, your back door, any door that you have. Axe is pretty much any kind of axe you would see, except it's been kind of beefed up a little bit for our purposes. These right here are called SQ-42s, and these are for stabilizing vehicles. So we go on car accidents, so if a car is ever on its side or if it's unstable for any reason, we actually set 2 of these up, and then we can actually help stabilize that vehicle so that we can work on the vehicle and get somebody out if need be and be safer. So as I said, we have a lot of hose. This is just the same size as the hoses you saw on the sides, those cross lays. This is a much bigger version. So these will be for the larger house fires, the larger building fires, and every truck's got these. So these are they get a little bit more harder to handle. You'll typically need 2 and maybe 3 people to handle this one, but you can put out a lot of water for very, very big fire with this. These are all supply hoses right here. So this is the 5-inch hose that you saw on the front. Obviously there's a lot more of it. And then this is 3-inch hose that can be used for either supply as well, or we can actually extend this out. If it's a house that's got a really big front yard, we can actually pull these and put these smaller hoses on the end. And again, we have a lot closer access to get in your house, get as much fire hose in the house as possible without trying to overextend ourselves. So it's just one of those things like I said, that we train for, that we know needs done. In here, this is our hydrant bag. So anytime I get off the back and I have to go take one of these 2 hoses to a hydrant, I grab this bag and take it with me. So a few things we have in here. I told you I would show you a bigger hook. Over there, this is a pike pole. We have different types of what we call hooks in the fire service. They're different shapes to be used for different versions. This one right here is called a pike pole. A lot of times we use hooks and different types of poles to pull ceiling down, because if we do put a fire out inside a house, a lot of times that fire can get behind your walls. It can get up in your ceilings where we can't see anything. So what we do is when we're done, we put the major part of the fire out. We don't want it to start again. So we pull ceilings down, we pull walls down, and we check and make sure that there's no additional fire, embers, anything like that behind the wall, because if we leave them, there's a very good chance we could come back to your house and it being on fire again. We normally have a roof saw, and this is our utility saw. So if there's ever like a tornado or anything, or it's just high winds that blow over a tree onto someone's vehicle, onto somebody's car or whatever, just laying in the roadway, we can actually use the chainsaw just to help get the road clear for traffic and things like that. And then also we have a roof saw, which is, we have to sometimes cut holes in roofs to let all that smoke and heat out so that those that are inside actually fighting the fire, it gives them better visibility and it also takes the heat off of them as well. So it's a lot safer for them. Oil dry, this is basically cat litter. So anytime there's a car wreck, we spread this oil dry around and it soaks up all that fluids that are spread everywhere, and we can just sweep it up and get rid of it, just keep it off the road. This cabinet right here, you see it's pretty important, right? I mean, it's labeled. This is probably one of the more important cabinets for us as firefighters. This is called our Rit Cabinet. So Rit stands for Rapid Intervention Team. And so what this is, at every fire scene, we have what's called a Rit team. And what they do is, their whole job is to stand outside with multiple tools around them, with this air tank, this rope, and that's called a sked. And they are there to be ready in case one of us go down inside the building. They are so important, if they do get deployed, somebody else is pulled from another job and they replace the team that's waiting. So we will always have a Rit team in place because it's that important. All right, and this is the last cabinet I'm going to go over. This cabinet gets used most of the time. We go on a lot of EMS runs or medical runs. Anytime someone gets sick, injured, hurt, whatever the case may be, every engine has at minimum an EMT here at White River Township, and we try to have at least one paramedic on every engine as well. The ambulance has at least one EMT, and they always have a paramedic. So if we happen to get there prior to the ambulance, paramedics and EMTs can help take care of and stabilize a patient, and then an ambulance can get there and transport them, or we can assist the ambulance in whatever is going on. If it's a cardiac arrest, we can be there to help. If it is chest pain, we can be there to help. No matter what the problem, we can be there to help them because we are trained just like them.
Thanks, it actually fits.
What we will do now is I will have firefighter Cody actually get in his gear at full speed, just so you can see how fast we can get things on. Now I want you to keep something in mind. His pack is outside. Normally it would be inside, but he's going to throw it on just so you can see why it's important that we have those packs in the seat, because it just takes that little bit extra time. But him getting his gear on is going to be full speed as it would be going on any fire run. Firefighter Cody is going to put on his gear. Ideally, he wants to do this in under a minute. So if we have a fire call, Cody's running to the truck. Now he's going to get his gear on in under a minute. Go. Puts his hood on first. That protects his head and his ears. Pants go on with your boots. The idea is to cover up all skin. So now you see half of his body is covered in just a few seconds. Everyone has to have a radio. It's our only way of being able to call out if we need help. Okay, at this point, normally he'd get in the truck, but now he's got to put his pack on. Again, normally this would be in the back of the truck, and he could do this after he's seatbelted and as we're going down the road. Even though it's not normal, still pretty quick. Now he's got a mask that he's got there. When we turn on his pack, he'll actually be able to breathe air. So we take our own air in with us. So now, he'll be able to breathe when he goes inside a fire. And for those who watch this and know who Darth Vader is, this is kind of who he's going to sound like. So he's got that on. The last thing is his gloves, and then he's ready to go inside. And there you go, Cody's ready to go inside a fire. So you see everything's covered now. Everything from head to toe is covered. if you heard that sound, remember what we talk about is firefighters possibly needing help. So what we have these things called pass alarms on our packs. So if we're not moving for an extended period of time, you'll start to hear a chirp, and it gets louder and louder and louder, and that lets us know where that downed firefighter might be. So if he doesn't move for a minute, it starts to move, or starts to alarm, and it gets louder.
Oh wow.
And now he'll wiggle, and it stops. So that's how we try to find somebody.
Thank you so much to the White River Township Fire Department for the wonderful tour of station number 53. And I hope that you had fun, and we will see you next time, kids.